And no, I'm not related to Arup Ganguly. and by the way, thank you, Bhavik, for putting Lupa first, because she did take all my punchlines. Because I was asked a few days ago to do this, and I said, what do you want me to talk about? And they said, well, say something inspirational about your life and career. And I thought, okay, well, that's not going to happen. Because there's nothing there. So I thought I'd do the cop-out, right? Karamsad Youth Network. I'll talk about Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Lots of platitudes, say nice things about him, free meal, bit of wine. And you let Lopa speak first. And she's going to talk about Vallabhbhai all evening. So that's done. So now I've got to go and talk about, I thought, let me talk about Modi ji, bright new India. The future is bright. Thank you, Lopa. Because that part of my speech has now been cut out, okay? So I can't even talk about that. So now I'm forced, and you are forced to listen as well, I am forced to talk a little bit about me and my career and life. But I'm not going to spend too much on it because I don't think it's an unusual story. It's quite a regular story of many Asian professionals in this country, first generation Brit-born Indians of immigrant parents. I think that I will throw a challenge out to everybody here. I'm going to throw a challenge out to the youth of Karamsad, but I'll do that right at the end. What I actually want to do first is talk about myself a little bit, which I love doing. So, very, very quickly, yes, my parents were from Kolkata, came over in the 50s. My father was one of the guys, I guess, who pioneered the Indian curry business in this country. I was a restaurateur for many years, since the 1950s here. I was educated both here and in India. I feel very lucky for that, having studied in India for a while, because it allowed me to be an Indian. Being brought up here and being born here, you have a lot of preconceptions about India that get broken once you've lived there. And you end up realizing how wonderful it is to be an Indian and how wonderful a country India is for all its shortcomings. So I'm very lucky for that. After finishing my education, I managed to somehow talk myself into Goldman Sachs. I'm still congratulating myself on that because I don't know how that happened, but I ended up spending 11 years there, and it was an interesting time. Highlights from, if you like, from an Asian perspective, Indian perspective, I set up the Asian Professional Network there. I was one of the founder members of that, which I don't know if it's still going or not. I believe there's somebody from Goldman's here. Somebody called Roshni. Yeah, is the APN still up and running?
Yeah, it is.
Excellent. Are you running it?
I've actually moved on, but no.
You moved on from being in the Asian Professional Network? It was rubbish, wasn't it?
Goldman's.
Moved on from Goldman's. You're Henderson now?
Henderson, yeah.
There you go, sunshine. So anyway, so we set up the APN. One of the other things that we did was we started going to India and recruiting people from IIM, Ahmedabad and places like that. And we started bringing young kids, really talented kids over. All these things were exciting and interesting. Then I left Goldman's and set up my own firm, which I've been running for 12 years now. And luckily we're still here. Even despite 2008, we're still standing. So pretty pleased about that. Outside of work, as we've mentioned several times, a group of us set up Sewa Day. There's a lot more to life than making money. Not a lot more, but there's something more important in life than making money. So we just set up Sewa Day 5 years ago with no real plan as to where it was going to go. But it's become a global volunteer initiative. We're in more than 25 countries now. We had more than 100,000 people who take part this year. We have a goal of being 1 million strong in the next 5 years. And it's really about changing the mindset, making people more caring, bringing back community spirit, promoting cohesion, as well as doing some good work. But really the underlying thing is to really promote cohesion. So, that's me, done. I'm not going to talk about me again. But what I really want to talk about, which I think is interesting, is as a British Indian, to talk about being a Londoner, which I think ostensibly we are. It doesn't matter where you grew up or where you're born, from Bradford or Leicester, wherever you now live and work in London, I'm assuming. So you're all Londoners. And as a British Indian Londoner, I feel very grateful to be in this country. I feel very grateful for the opportunities my parents got, and then we got, and my kids hopefully will get. I feel very, I feel very privileged to be in this country, and I think it's a great place to live. We get to do a lot of stuff that people in India don't get to do. And that's a privilege. But I'm getting old. I'm getting old. I'm getting grumpy. I've got a bad back. Okay? Little things about London really peeve me off. I just think Londoners don't care about anything anymore, right? And London, when you say London, and London is made up of all different kinds of people. London's a cosmopolitan place now. We have people coming in from all over the world. And I just don't think London is a great place, the lovely place that I knew when I was growing up. How many people are from North London? Who knows Hampstead? Hampstead, right? Who knows Spaniards Lane? Spaniards Lane is this road, and there's a Spaniards pub right there, right? And they don't have a traffic light there, so it's a two-lane road. And then what happens is there's a little space where you basically have to give way to people come opposite for the traffic to keep going. Now, in the old days, I guess if we had great manners, and people would wait. And good day, yes, off you go. And the traffic keep flowing. Now nobody wants to let you go, right? No, man, it's me first. So you're waiting for like 300 cars go past, right? You've been there, you've aged like a year since you've been sitting there. Because nobody cares. People in London don't care anymore, okay? And these little things peeve me off, right? Really, I'm going to have a bit of a rant now. Little things peeve me off, right? The tube, who uses the tube? Tube. Get on the tube, what happens first then? You get a seat, yeah? What happens? What ensues? Armrest turf war. You want the armrest. It's all about real estate. It's not about the other person, it's about me. I want the armrest. I want to read my paper. I don't want your elbow touching mine. Okay? I don't care about you. Leave me alone. Then you got the hot. In the summer it's hot, it's smelly, it's never on time. Now luckily I don't have to use the tube much because I actually drive to work, okay? But now and then I have to use it. It really gets my goat. Car, now I drive, yeah? Motorists. Motorists, whole different animal in London. Whole different animal. Right? All driving with their mobile phones on, or cutting on the inside, bus lanes. They don't care. Mirror signal maneuver. It's easy. It's so easy. And don't get me started on cyclists. Don't get me started on cyclists. Blind spot, this, that and the other, going through reds, going over zebra crossings. Then they're self-righteous. They're always right. Even after I've run them over. Because they went through a red. That's an expensive way to be right, isn't it really? My therapist said breathe. My therapist said breathe. When you're having a rant, breathe. Maybe. Am I being petty? Am I being petty? Are these little things I shouldn't care about? Am I being petty? A little bit? Just a little bit petty. Probably I am being petty. There are real things to hate, aren't there? There are real things on this planet, in this city, and this country that we should really hate. You know, I hate the fact that today, in 21st century London, one of the great capitals of the world, that more than 10,000 people will sleep homeless tonight. Right? The system fails at failing them. The system fails them. Right? And the numbers are growing. I hate that in this country, still, women, children, other vulnerable people are being attacked, abused, tortured. And the social system and the justice system can't do anything about it, isn't up to it. Shorter funding, not got the right personnel, I don't know what the problem is. But they can't do it, right? I hate that we live in a country and a city where people do come and live here. They're coming to make money. But they don't care about the city they're living in, right? They don't care. And that changes the way a city works, a city looks, the way a city feels, when people don't care about a city. And if you've been to cities, some of the cities in Europe like I've been to, where ostensibly it's the people... Actually, I'll talk about Gujarat. It's a good time to talk about Gujarat. You look at the whole of India, you look at Gujarat and how well Gujarat is run. And my theory on Gujarat is this, that Gujarat is ostensibly run by Gujaratis for Gujaratis. And they care. They care about their state and they care about their cities. And that's why it works so well. It wasn't just because Mr. Modi was a great chief minister. He actually had a population of people that cared about their state and their city. And we don't have that here, right? People come in, make money, and they bugger off. Am I allowed to say that? What did I say, bugger off? Thank you, Balak, I'm allowed. One-time dispensation to say bugger off, okay? So, you know, that people don't care. And what really frustrates me about being a Londoner and being a Brit is that the challenge is coming, guys, so listen up, the challenge is coming. What really upsets me is that we have Westminster full of leaders who don't seem to have the experience, the depth, the knowledge, the content to deliver a better service to us, to be better leaders. You know, if we have one of the most important general elections coming next year in the generation, right? And the menu of leaders looks about as bland as going out for an English, right? Right? And frighteningly, the most interesting guy out there is Nigel Farage. Go figure. Because he's at least saying what he thinks. But the other guys, they're bereft of ideas, bereft of imagination, and they're bereft of caring, to be honest. My view, they don't care. Okay? Now, our political system isn't perfect. But one man, one vote, I challenge you to find a much fairer system than that. But any system is only as good as its people. Now, you had some celebrity, I won't mention him, because I don't want to glorify him any further, right? But you had a celebrity recently recommend that young people don't vote anymore. You guys should not vote. He said, object to the political system by not voting. Guess what? The guys in Westminster love that. Because you become a silent majority. They don't have to care about you anymore. Because they don't have to care about your vote, because you're not going to vote. So they only have to take care of their friends now. Right? Because the rest of you, you've left the system. You're not stakeholders anymore. You don't vote. What a terrible, terrible, terrible thing to suggest to people. To leave a political system. Right? And remember, people 100 years ago, we're celebrating this week, 100 years ago people died so we could be free and so we could vote and we could have this system. So here comes the challenge. Here comes the challenge. Don't be a victim like me. Don't be somebody who just makes do. I think our generation before us was so busy. We were so busy trying to establish ourselves, get security for our kids, buy a house, make sure that our kids got the right education, that we just got consumed about the rat race. And we forgot about community, and we forgot about doing all the other things that makes us on a community platform basis, right? So here's my challenge to you. The system is as good as the people in it. I said it just a second ago. So all of you need to get involved. When I look in this room, I see young people. I see potential councillors. I see potential ministers and MPs and one or two candidates for Prime Minister. Right? Please get involved. Not because you want to, because we need you to. The political system can only be better if you guys are involved. If you really believe that you can do the job better than these people, that you care more, then it's incumbent upon you to get involved. And now I'm going to get back to Sardar Patel. Right? Now I'll bring him back in. If Sardar Patel and his comrades didn't decide to get involved when they did, we wouldn't be here tonight. We wouldn't be talking about voting in an election. And God knows who would be in charge of Europe. Right? They got stuck in, they decided to take responsibility so we could be free. So it's our responsibility to also get involved, because every single one of you can be the Iron Man or the Iron Woman of this generation. Thank you very much.